All right, here we are in Project 6. Welcome to Project 6. We are going to be branding. You all join me here on Project 6 Identity and Mark Making Board. This is going to be your workspace. So I've decided to create a template for you all to use to do your process work on. Since I know we've been struggling to use the process book format, I'm going to try another option for you, and that's this Mural workspace. So what you'll do when you get your own board is you're going to use and work on this board. You're all going to have your own, and they're all going to look exactly the same. You're going to plug in your name here. And you're doing that because when we download these, you want to have your name. And when we build our company, we'll add our company name there. So before we begin, making sure that you are prepared and thinking about what we're going to do. So this assignment is called Identity and Mark Making. Your charge for this assignment is to design a brand for a fictional product or service that you love. So the first step here is to think about products or services that you love. First step is you're going to create a list of 20 types of products or service that you can think to build a brand that you love around. We're going to make a work plan, just like we did for Project 4. At the beginning of every project, you want to set yourself up for success by using our work plan Excel worksheet to plan out when and where and how you will manage your time to complete the project and meet all deadlines. The majority of this project will be done asynchronously because we have a holiday in the middle of this project, meaning we aren't going to, one of the weeks of this project, we will not meet at all. So everything will be asynchronous. That doesn't mean you don't have work to do. That doesn't mean you don't have deadlines. It just means we're not meeting in person. You still have work to do. You still have deadlines. The primarily critiques and feedback will be critical for this project. That means you have to be sharing your work, reaching out on Slack and sharing your work and reaching out and giving feedback to each other. You will be graded on your participation and your engagement throughout this project. After you complete each part of the process, be sure to save and download your mural board as a PDF. This document will serve as your process book for this assignment. It must be complete and in the end saved as a PDF and submitted along with your final project art. The objective of the design process is to learn effectively to demonstrate your working and thought process, to understand the value of process and practice, and develop organizational skills. Part 1, organizational company contours. We're going to be using the principle of love as the guiding theme, and we're going to create an enduring visual identity that fully reflects the value and aspirations of this newly forged organization. So the project name for this project is Identity and Mark Making, and our goal is to create an identity for a company using love as a guiding theme. The way we're going to help ourselves figure that out is this first exercise, and this is one we're going to do in class today. In what space within a market does this organization niche exist? And we're going to fill in as many Post-its in each square as possible. What do they do? So in other words, thinking about things we love. And I want you to think back to our ritual. For example, I asked you all to come up with a ritual in our symbols project of things that you do and involve with every day. And a lot of times that ties into things we love, whether it's making coffee, caring for our pets, listening to music, going snowboarding. All of those things would be relevant to build off of for this project. So for example, if caring for your pets was one of your rituals, you might want to tie that into a company that maybe makes pet food or pet supply products for those pets. And so you would think about, well, what is the company that I might want to consider forging? So putting here as many different Post-its on here with ideas. So you might say pet food. You might say, so actually what we'll do is we're going to do one together. Let's pick a thing that we can talk about that we love. So let's, as a group, come up with, and we'll do one together. What do we love? So let's think about some, I know a couple of us talked about coffee today. How many of us love coffee? Are there anything that we can find that we all kind of have in common, or that we would like to share a love of, so that we can do this together? Or chocolate. Maybe chocolate's better than coffee. How many of us, is there anyone that doesn't love chocolate? All right, let's use chocolate as our example. So I'm going to say chocolate is our company that is going to make chocolate. So in the what they do, I want everyone to put a post-it in this first square about what our company that makes chocolate might make. Like, what do they do? So chocolate is an overall arching number. We got to be more specific. Do they make a specific kind of chocolate? Do they make a specific product? Is it like hot chocolate? Is it chocolate bars? Is it slave-free chocolate? Is it from a specific country? Is it a specific origin? What do we want to say about, and we can go, we have all of these different 3 boxes to kind of fill of chocolate. So everyone grab a post-it and plug in the column what they do. I want to see everyone participating and plugging in what do they do. We're all going to build together a chocolate company.
Different ideas for what a chocolate company could do.
Yep.
Okay.
What's our chocolate company going to do? What do we make? What do we do? Quickly, first thing that comes to mind, quickly, so we can get through the exercise. We are all on the Project 6 identity and mark making. We're all working on the same mural right now. And it's in the graphic design 1. Do you see it, Cooper? I'll put a link here.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, join us there. We're all working together. Everyone, what do we do? What does our chocolate company do? All right, the next one, once you've done that, what makes it different from other things like it? So what sets us apart from Hershey's, Nestle's, Godiva? What makes our chocolate different? What are we doing that's unique and that's different to separate us from our competition? I want to see everybody participating. I'm not seeing everybody in here. Ariana, I'm not seeing you. Fabian, I'm not seeing you. Are you guys having problems finding the room? Fabian, Ariana, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I'm in the room.
Are you in? Okay, now I see you. All right. Let's add to the discussion here. Okay, so now once we've decided what makes it different, intended platform. So how are we going to communicate, sell? What are we doing with our chocolate? How are we getting it out there? So who's the intended platform? Like, are we gonna be selling chocolate bars, hot coffee? Are we selling it through a grocery store? Are we gonna sell it online? Are we gonna sell it at little farmers markets? Are we selling it wholesale to cafes and restaurants? Direct to home delivery? Are we like, what are we doing? How are we going to get the chocolate into the hands of our consumers? What's our decision? Is it like, do we buy it at 7-Eleven? I don't think we have 7-Elevens anymore. Do we buy it at the gas station? Do we buy it at Walmart? Do we buy it at Target? Do we buy it at the grocery store? Do we buy it at a specialty store? Do we buy it only online? Do we buy it only when we go out to eat? So how are we gonna get it? How are we gonna learn about it? If you're saying markets, be more specific. When you're talking about a store, what kind of store? Is it a grocery store? Is it a big box store? Is it a gas station? Is it a mom and pop store? Be more specific. So when you're designing this for yourself, you want to be as specific as possible. Is it a farmer market? Perfect. Tell us where exactly. And then the categories of stores or markets are, mom and pop, big box, grocery, specialty. It could also be, if we're in the organic game, it could be, organic and fair trade, or co-op. Co-op is another one, for fair trade and organic products. So think about what our intended platform is. Okay, so that's how you fill this out. So then we're going to keep going on. We're going to go through this. So the next step is, once we've thought about that, I'm going to bring us down. I want to show you the timeline. I've added a timeline on here, and I have this little movable guy saying this is where we're at. This red bar here this is where we're at. So today is our kickoff. Your first work stream is going through, and part 1 and 2 are all due next week. Part 3 is going to be due week 10, and that's when we don't meet, because this is Thanksgiving week. And then when we come back, it's due. So we only are going to be together for this project next week, and then it'll be due. So there's a lot of asynchronous work, and it's going to be on you to really decide to engage and participate in the asynchronous part of this project. So that being said, there's initially, as we always start off, there's research. So when we're talking about branding, we need to start thinking about who our customer is. We're going to be designing a brand for a particular customer. As we just learned in our chocolate, understanding what kind of chocolate we're making. And all of you kind of had different ideas, which is fine. I like that one of us put our own ideas in the green. Each one of you have an idea. So whatever it is. So if I'm going to go with the person who used green here. So their decision is chocolate spread Nutella is what their chocolate product is going to be. What makes it different from other things like it? It's not made in a factory. I'm assuming that means it's more small batch made, maybe a small batch. And then they're selling it at a farmer's market. So the next step is to come over here and think about our persona. This is a framework to develop for a good set of personas that will guide you to talk about the recipients of your ideas at every stage of the design development. A persona profile are fictional characters drawn from real research data, not preconceived stereotypes that can serve as a way to make your data meaningful. So the first thing is you can name your person, whatever it is. So, and you want to give it a short detail of this person. So the first thing is we were thinking about who are we making this product for? So we're making this product for someone who wants something that is handcrafted, handmade, not factory made, someone who is looking to purchase their work. They go to a farmer's market. So first of all, we know they shop at a farmer's market. So then we have to kind of look at those database. Now there are a lot of ways to find this. Nielsen is one way, and you can go on to your library and search out Nielsen ratings to understand demographics of different consumer markets. To start thinking about who are the people we're designing for. We're not, when we do this in a real world scenario, we go in and we look for data of that are done by companies like Nielsen. Have you all heard of Nielsen ratings? You heard of that term before? Is that familiar to you? Yes or no? No? Yes. There are organizations out there that are checking on us as consumers. In the world we're living now, all of us shop online. All of our data is being collected. Everything we do, everything we buy is being tracked. So when you Google something, when you shop online, all of that information is being tracked. And so they're creating a profile of us. They're figuring out how old we are, what our ethnicity is, where we live, and how we shop. And so those statistics are all being put into categories. We're all being put into categories. And so they've named these categories, and they name them like the suburban mom, if you will. And then they'll talk about like what a suburban mom is traditionally purchasing, buying, what their interests are, so on and so forth. We're going to kind of assume some of this because of our time frame and not the ability to really do a deep dive on the research of this, but I want to walk you through what it means. So we're going to use ourselves, and that's why I'm having us choose love, because we are going to be in the product persona of our product. I want you to choose something you love so that you're one of the personas. One of you and maybe your friends are your persona, something that you know well versus something you don't know. So for example, going with our one that I'm using, so the chocolate Nutella, not factory made, farmer's market. This first person, whose is that, by the way? Who wrote this green one with the farmer's market?
I did.
Maddie? Okay, great. So Maddie, can you help us? Let's all as a group, and I want everyone to kind of fill in. What do we think we know about the person who would be shopping for your Nutella that's sold at the farmer's market?
Probably like a regular at the farmer's market. They like organically sourced stuff.
They probably care
Like
about
small businesses.
Small business. Oh, so here I'm gonna have you all fill in. Here's a quick thing, so we can a quote from the person's perspective, so we can think about how does that person live. We want to basically tell ourselves a little story of this person. So maybe we'll call this like Susan. And then what would be a short description of Susan? Maddie, I'm going to let you, since this was your person, I'm going to let you put a little description of how you visualize Susan as a person. What would be a short description of her? And the rest of us want us to think about what would Susan's goals and motivations be? Beyond our product or service, what motivates this person? So if she's shopping at a farmer's market and she's looking for something that's small batch, not factory made, what do we think her goals and motivations might be?
She's interested in freshness. She wants a product that's actually consistent.
Good quality.
She doesn't want chemicals. She doesn't want additives.
Yes. no chemicals or additives. Excellent. Excellent. Good choice. What's another thing about her? So she's looking for freshness, quality, chemicals, or additives. What other things motivate her?
She wants to leave. She doesn't want to leave. You know, that's how they say, a heavy carbon footprint. She's trying to impact the world in a better way, and she probably recycles.
Eco-sensitive, recycles. Recycles, what am I spelling this right? How am I spelling recycles? Why am I having a problem? Recycles, see, recycles, and oh my God, get the idea. And we are looking at carbon footprint is what you said, right?
Yeah.
And then we're also thinking about maybe buying local as being important. She's a farmer's market shopper.
She likes
Someone
to
else,
support
go
small
ahead.
businesses.
Supporting small businesses. I'll put buying local as our next one. Buying local. Oh. Supporting her community. Okay. What else are her fears and frustrations? What is keeping them up at night? What does a bad day look like? What might they be afraid of?
Fracking.
Exactly. Not that fracking is funny. Yes. I don't even know fracking. I have to look it up. What else?
She's probably like a big activist for like, I don't know, climate change or something. So she probably gets upset when she sees like stuff about like fossil fuels or something.
Yeah, she doesn't believe climate change is false. She believes it. I mean, climate change is real. Actors for climate change, it's real. Yeah. What else?
She gets angry when she sees litter.
She gets what?
Like angry when she sees litter.
Letter. Angry. Okay, good. Now, tasks and tactics. What does this person do to accomplish their goals? How are they living their life? So they understand that they have these goals of they want freshness, quality, no chemicals or additives. They're eco-sensitive. They're aware of their carbon footprint. They recycle. They want to buy local. They want to support small businesses. So what does this person do to accomplish their goals? How do they live their life? What are choices they're making?
She probably reuses things. She probably buys things that are used as much as she can. She might, do you know, things that are composted, all those types of things.
Oh, I'm sure she composts, right? Composts. Someone else, what else? What else does she do?
She probably doesn't shop for groceries at like a large corporation, like a Target or a Walmart. She probably shops like either at like an online business or like the farmer's market. So like
Co-op
just the farmer's market.
shopping, farmers market. You guys all know what a co-op is? A co-op is where you all belong to the greater good. So everyone pays into a little bit to help the store, a local independent store, have bigger buying power, and you support by only shopping at that store. You're like a member owner. So you also benefit if they do well, you get money back. So it's kind of a community-based store shopping to support local stores in your community. Okay, now needs. What does this person need from us to be successful? So what do they want from us and our chocolate company? What would help fulfill their needs that we can provide?
We could make, if we use, local ingredients and continue to do that, maybe add some fruits or vegetables even to our chocolates that are locally sourced or something like that. She might be
Locally sourced fruit. Okay,
We could
good.
do like
We
What
could
else?
use recycled packaging.
Yes, recycled packaging. What else can we do? Remember, she cares about eco-sensitive, she cares about a carbon footprint. You know, chocolate is made where? Where do we get chocolate from?
Oh,
Mostly.
I heard it's from Africa. I
Most
forget.
of it is from Africa.
We could
Not
get it
all.
ethically sourced.
Right, ethically sourced, because the thing with chocolate, I don't know if you're all aware of this, is it's made by, most of it is slave labor, is very heavily involved. Children, slave labor in Africa is where we get our chocolate, most of our chocolate. It's horrible for something that's so sweet and delicious. So if we are eco-sensitive and we're caring about our carbon footprint, we're caring about the world, we have to be very careful where we source our chocolate, because so much of the world's chocolate involves slave labor, specifically children slave labor. And it is amazing that that is still happening in the world we're living in, but it is. So there's only a few companies out there that really truly address this issue. So it's not only, it's fair trade and slave-free sourced chocolate. One of the best companies out there to buy chocolate from, if you're not aware, is Tony Chocolonely. It's a Dutch company. They did an amazing documentary on the on chocolate and the slave trade industry within chocolate. And from that documentary, they built a brand and a product to try every means possible to create fair trade and slave-free chocolate. So if you ever see Tony Chocolonely in stores, and I'm seeing it in more and more stores. I just saw it at CVS recently. I couldn't believe CVS was carrying it. It was so awesome. It's called Tony Chocolonely. So check it out. They tell their whole story on the packaging. It's a great example of ethically branded chocolate. So there we go. So that's our Susan. We would do the same thing and create another one for, Tom, okay? And Tom might have different reasons to buy this. He might have different reasons. He might not be quite as eco-friendly as Susan is. He might not be as much of an activist as Susan is. He might be just a guy that really likes quality chocolate, and he feels the only way you can get good quality chocolate is from small batch. You know what I'm saying? So he might have some different motivations. We want to address his motivations too. Do we all understand how to walk through And let's talk about the one last thing we need to finish for Susan. So I see Maddie added in, bring reusable bags, recycle. She wears thrifted clothing, has an electric car. What would be a good quote for Susan now that we've kind of filled out her whole persona? What would be a good quote for Susan, what she would want in a product that we're making?
You could say freshness is king, but I feel like it's more than just freshness, you know? But I
I
don't know.
do too. I think she's more about freshness. I think because she's an activist and climate change is a real big issue for her. Litter makes her angry. She's an activist on climate change. She's super against hurting the earth like fracking. I think it's more about what's good for the earth, right? What do you think, Maddie? What would our Susan be saying?
I'm kind of running a blank here, so I'm trying to think of like what she could say that doesn't sound like a corporate saying.
Anyone else have any ideas? Angelica, what do you think Susan would say? Anyone?
Could say like quality over, I think about quantity, but maybe like quality over or like above anything else. I don't know.
I look for quality and ethically, is that a word? Ethically source products for my family. I'll look up ethically, something like that. What else? I think that's kind of clunky. Anyone have any ideas? I'm looking up ethically, so I spell it right.
Maybe I only want my family using ethically sourced quality products.
A-L-L-Y. I only want my family. I like that. I only want my family. Only want my family using ethically sourced products. Perfect. Perfect. I only want my family using ethically sourced products. Excellent. Okay. So we would do that at least 2 different ones. Now let me walk you into the next part. So then we move into the SWOT analysis. And let me tell you what this is. A SWOT analysis is a technique that can be used to elevate any product or service. Firstly, the objective or aim has to be defined, and then the factors that are favorable or unfavorable to achieving that aim are identified. All right, so we're going to go through our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities and threats for our chocolate. So our strengths, the characteristics of the brand that give it an advantage over others. So let's start there, everybody. I'd like everyone to put a Post-it in this area of strengths. We already have talked about, gotten a little bit of idea of what our product is about. What are the strengths of our chocolate spread that is small batched, no chemical additives. We're going to add locally sourced ingredients where we can. We're going to really be aware of where we get our chocolate. So let's put all of that, those strengths that our brand has. I'm going to copy the over here, the Well, let me copy this. I don't know if I can copy it, post it, and paste it again. Oh yeah, I'm gonna copy my post-it that I made over there, that this is gonna be a fair trade, slave-free chocolate. What else can we put in here? What else is important? What else that our company can do that would be a strength? Best for the environment and community. Let's talk about where we shop for it. We're going to get it at where? We're going to get it at the farmer's market. We're supporting the local farmer's market. Our strength is we have a low carbon footprint. Let's put all of those things in. Let's, come on, I want to see one from everybody. Cooper, let's get involved. Fabian, Angelica, let's get involved, everybody. In order to understand how to do this, we're doing it together. So you have to participate to understand what we're doing. I don't want to hear that we don't understand how to do this. We're doing it together so we understand. You've got to participate though. What are our strengths? Our chocolate. What other things you can talk about? You can turn your mics on too. What are some other things to think about? Oh, some good ones here. So we have local ingredients, recycled packaging. Yes. Good, healthy ingredients, best environment for the community.
I was thinking about if you have a company like this and we're doing all of this, we might as well have a community outreach program where we kind of give back or something like that.
Yes, absolutely. Put that on the board. We give back to our local community. Maybe we're helping homelessness, fight homelessness in our local community, or food insecurity in our local community. We're working to help our community and make it better. Yes, excellent. Remember, this is a chocolate spread. It's not a molded chocolate. This is a chocolate spread. We're doing like a Nutella spread. This is you can spread this on toast. You can put this on pancakes. This is our chocolate spread, making it very accessible for everybody. Okay, so let's move on. The next thing, what are our weaknesses? So we know what our strengths are. What are our weaknesses? This puts our brand at a disadvantage. Low quantities. That's right. We are hand batch, small batch. So we're not going to have the same amount as Nutella. I mean, that's our competition. Nutella is our competition. We can't produce as much product as Nutella can. But what else can we do? So our weakness would be low quantities. We probably can't buy it everywhere. If we're buying it at the farmer's market, it's not at the grocery store. So it's not probably as easy to get as it would be if we were going to the grocery store. Like, you're going to have to go out of your way to find our product. It's not going to be everywhere. Costs, that's right. We're probably going to cost more. It's expensive to use recycled packaging, to purchase fair trade and slave-free chocolate. It's actually going to cost a lot more to be ethical and to be community conscious, especially if we want to give back to the community. We got to build that into the price point so we have money that we can put back into the community. Expires quickly, yeah, because it's going to be natural. We're not putting a bunch of preservatives in here. Excellent. Excellent. All right, let's move down to opportunities. Elements of the brand that could exploit to its advantage. So these are ways that we can really promote our product. How can we talk about all the good things our product is? What are opportunities? How can we, actually, I think, you know what I'm going to say, Jasmine, I almost think that community outreach, let's move that into opportunities, because I think that's more of an opportunity. It's a strength, but or maybe it's both. Maybe it's, what do we think? Is it a strength and an opportunity, or is it just an opportunity? Maybe it's both. I'm going to say both. What do you think, Jasmine?
Well, I think we have enough for strength, so I guess we could move it to opportunity.
Okay. I like it in opportunity because I think community outreach is really awesome. I don't know what you mean, Cooper, about molds. We're doing like a spread, a chocolate spread. What do you mean for molds? This is like Nutella.
Oh, I think I was confused then. I thought we were thinking up our own idea of what to do with chocolate. I didn't realize it was
Oh, okay.
specifically about like spread.
Well, I narrowed it down. Thank you for saying it. I narrowed it down to one thing so we could all do it together to simplify. So we
Alright.
did that at the beginning and I narrowed it down to one thing. So we're doing just the Nutella spread that's fair trade, that is sold at farmers markets. And the reason I did that is so that we could all do one together, but we had to narrow it down to one idea. So for this one idea that we're doing together, it's Nutella competition, it's fair trade, it's small batch, it's craft, and we're selling it at farmers markets. Unique flavors, absolutely, that's an opportunity. Good. More diverse products, I think, is that where you're coming from, Jasmine? I think, like, the thing is no, Nutella just has like a couple different options. We have the option where we can do lots of unique combinations in our product. Because we're small batch, we can also try things out. We're more nimble. Being small batch, we can also have people taste our product at the farmer's market. An opportunity is that we're talking to people one-on-one. We're showing and demonstrating our product and people can taste it and experience it. So we have these abilities to present our product. Okay, then let's move on to threats. Elements in the retail environment that could cause trouble for the brand. What are our threats? What are things that could cause us problem?
A drought.
That's right, production, droughts. You know, we're only working with a couple small farms because we're being so careful about where we buy our chocolate from. If anything happens to those small farmers and what's happening in their environment, it could definitely affect our product. Also, so definitely the environment, you know, climate change could affect us, of course, because we're dealing with a product that is farmed. The retail environment. Difficulty competing with larger and cheaper companies. Absolutely. It's not easy being small batch because the price point, we are expensive. In some case, we might be, you know, a quarter or a half more expensive than the other companies. Overshadowed by Nutella, that's for sure. Let's say like what happened with the pandemic, farmers markets went out of business for a while. They all shut down. No one was having farmers markets for a while. Maybe the ability of that we don't have many distribution points. So unlike a bigger brand who's distributing their product at everywhere from a big box store to a grocery store to a gas station, our product can only be found in farmers markets and specialty markets, maybe co-ops. We're not seeing our product everywhere. So that limited distribution, it can be a threat. Okay, so then we go down here after we finished our SWOT analysis and we kind of really review everything we've discovered and we really push ourselves to come up with as many ideas as we can. We're going to reframe this information. You want to create a value proposition statement, and that means what it is and who it's for. We want to establish relevance and communicate the benefits and features and state why it's unique. So we're going to create a value proposition here that tells about basically putting all of these ideas we've just been putting together into one succinct sentence. What is it that establishes relevance and communicates the benefits and features of our unique product? Okay, and that's what we're going to put down here. And then the next idea is you're going to make a focused messaging statement. And so what is our company's mantra or guiding principle? So the idea of this product, if we go back to like our initial, when we think about our, some of our decisions, we kind of think about what are these things that are important. We want to go back to our strengths and our opportunities and say, what drives us as a company? Why are we doing what we do? Why do we make this product? What is guiding us? And so for us, it might be that we care about climate change. We care about people. We want to only work with people that are not exploiting other people. We only want to work with people that care about the environment, and we want to support our local community. So we can build all of that into a sentence. That's our messaging statement that we're going to guide our whole design and our brand towards. So once we complete these two, and we're not going to have time to do that because we're already at 12:20. That takes us to the end of part one. So we end part one with these two statements that are really vital in helping us design our brand. So we do all of that to start designing our brand. The next step is we're going to go into what is a name. And the name adds meaning. It creates a distinctive presence. It's perceived being positive orients of visual design aspects. So I've created a grid here, and you need to fill out every box on this grid with a name idea. And if you go through here, you can see that you have name development exercise. You're going to do 4 of each category. So 4 names that can be playful and irreverent, names that challenge the ordinary. So think about brands that are out there that have names that are playful and fun. Think of like, even if we look at like Google and Yahoo, those are fun, playful names. So think about a playful name. Yeah, Cooper.
These names still have to be about chocolate?
For this exercise, this will ultimately be about your decision of whatever your product is going to be. So for us, it's about chocolate for this, the one that we're doing together. So everyone, if you would do one, we're going to have just a second to do this. Everyone pick a name for your our chocolate brand and pop it into one of these. You can choose playful, irrelevant, founder, can be Cooper's Chocolates, invented, completely made up, a made up word, descriptive, association, deliberately clear and attributes, technical, it blends modern words and technical language, a specific function, conjoined names that are a combination or connotation of 2 or more ideas, acronym, names that are stated as a group of letters that are intended to become the common use. Think of like AT&T, NBC, CBS, those kinds of things. Metaphorical attribute, analogy, symbolism, names that borrow from stories, cultural icons, or other emotive forces. And then random words, completely random words that will be appropriate for the new concept over time. So I was telling you about Tony Chocolonely is the chocolate brand that I really love. Tony is a founder because it was the guy's name was Tony that did the documentary and that did this whole expose on the problem in the chocolate world. So Tony Chocolonely, it's kind of a combination. It's Tony, which is the founder's name, and then it's an irreverent, an invented name. Chocolonely is a made-up word. So Tony Chocolonely would fall into the founder and kind of invented name. It kind of fits both of those actually. And then we can think of, I can think of other names that are Hershey of existing. I'm just showing you existing ones. Hershey is based on Hershey, Pennsylvania. So that's based on a location. So, and so on and so forth. So you can kind of go in and just type in. And so I want you to fill in every box on this grid. And that's challenging, but you can do it when you get to your design. Okay, and then at the bottom here, after you've done that, you're going to choose your heroes from that list, and then you're going to focus test it with people in your life, including us. You're going to post these up on Slack, and we're going to test the names, First impression, does it sound and look good? Is it easy to read or pronounce? You're going to post 6 names on Slack, having us test your names once you've done this complete exercise so that we can give you some feedback on which are the names you should go forward with. Then you're going to be making a mood board, and you're going to use the categories on the board to guide you through your thoughts. A mood board consists of photos that are inspiration for your brand, color and texture that are inspiration for your brand, fonts, which are typefaces, any art or any artistic expression that influences you, graphic styles that you might find, any other inspiration. We're going to put all of that on a mood board and fill it. So there should be color palettes, typefaces, textures, photos, lifestyle, like all the things that matter to our brand are going to go on this mood board. And so that takes us to the end of part 2. So that is what we're trying to do for next week. We are doing up until part 2. Yep. Mood board is the last bit. So when you get to the mood board, that is done. But this stuff we want to do, we need to look at your names in Slack before we have class. You want to share. If you have questions along the way about your system, your process, I'm going to make a board like this for each one of you and put it here in Mural. So you'll have it right here in this Mural classroom. You'll each have a board at this template. So the first things you're going to start with this week is deciding on what kind of company do you want to do based on something you love. Now, my encouragement for you is maybe look back to your ritual at our symbols project and think about what you did for your ritual and maybe tie that in to something that you would maybe want to make a brand for that company, whether it's music or pet care. And I say that because we had a few music ones, we had a few pet care ones, and sharing that love. And it could be like pet food, it could be a music or headphone company, or it could be a streaming service or whatever. It's really up to you. All right, I'm gonna stop the video here.